Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, back here live on Pizza Race TV. We are here down in Dover Dovermore Speedway Showcase of the GOAT Racing League Next Gen Cup Series, presented by Global Strategy Team and Jack Racing's Collectibles. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader Chris Driver, joining you guys here today here as we're getting set for the action and set on the pace here. Field of drivers right now getting ready for their action at hand and getting ready for what is about to come their way. As we start them up on the pole, as usual, we'll see a familiar face in the 19, Tyler Dalton. To the outside, though, it'll be Zach Rolfsberger in the number 4 there. Row number 2 is going to be Scott Simley at 7 on the outside, and the number 83, that will be Mr. John McMillans Jr. Row number 3 is going to be the 15, Joe Hutz, the outside, and the number 6, Cameron Dario. Row number 4 is Maurice Burnett on the outside. It will be the 9, Bobby Wetzel. Row number 5 is the 3 of Keith Prince, the outside. And the number 10, it is Ryan D. Cook. Row number 6 will be the 11 of Ron Holyfield, the outside. In the number 22, the Wild Man, Alan Wild. Row 7 is the 23 of Charles Van Schaik, the outside. In the number 38, John McMillan Sr. Row number 8. In the number 12, it'll be Aaron X. Jackson, the outside. In the number 18, it is Philip Schmitz. Row number 9 is 97, Jeff Ramsell, the outside. In the 44, Christoph Hall. Final stars the field, Jerry Livingston, the 96. And the 36, Richard Crane. Your field of drivers now set for action. 240 laps of the distance here on the Monster Mile. Stage number 1 going to be on lap 60. Stage number 2 at lap 130. As long as no caution comes out in between those, they will remain green throughout until the lap marker has been reached. And then 110 laps on that final grab and that final distance run. Momentum going to be very crucial here at Dover Motor Speedway. The Monster Mile only commands and demands presence for every driver to be at their best, at their most powerful. You're about to see why in just a moment. Here's the reel him down off turn number 4. Tyler Dalton leading the way, ready to set the field on in. As we begin your showcase here today at Dover, Delaware's Dover Motor Speedway. Green is out. Into the Monsters Lair we go. Well, and that wasn't quite the start we were expecting there. Caution is already out. We got 2 drivers down there already wrecked in. Jeff Ramsdell, the number 97, unfortunately clipped up right out of that gate here, and a horrible start for the drivers involved in that one. The ARP, number 97, unfortunately finds himself bashed in a little bit, maybe thrown a little bit to the wall there. Your Jag Races Collectibles restart will be up for grabs here as we take a look at the Global Strategy Team replay. That was definitely not the best start there for these drivers out of the gate, obviously, but that is one of those deals you just know you had to face. It looked like Ramsdell just kind of got a little tight on the right side there, and the car just kind of drifted right up. Not completely sure what went wrong there or what went down, but either way, that car definitely not where it needed to be out of the gate here. It ended up colliding with another driver down there. The other driver was the 44, Christoph Hall here, and I don't believe for 1 second Christoph was very happy about that little tag there. Could have been a lot of things that are going to happen on the start. Rear end locked up, steering locked up. Again, these cars aren't exactly built perfectly. So the field right now going to currently get squared back up onto the track here. Looking to set themselves back on the spot and back into the drive. Double file them up yet again here in the field. Going to get ready to rack and stack and go back on the attack here. Definitely a little bit of a hiccup there out of the start. Drivers not too keen on those. They don't like to have to play it out like that out of the gate. But as we've always said here on the broadcast forums, usually it's some things you just can't control. And chaos is certainly one of them. So Dover, not exactly the fastest track, not exactly the craziest track, but it is, in my opinion, one of the most enduring tracks that drivers face off against constantly due to 3 big pillars, which is tire wear, the fuel running through, and then of course the overall presence of having to find a place and the right time to pass here. Very difficult to master and very difficult to grab on, especially when you have to consider how much they have to gravitate towards the outside line as the car shifts up from the top side, from the bottom of the top side, forcing everybody to kind of hold their breath and make sure they keep themselves in a good position to stay cool and stay collective. Back to the restart zone. That Jack Racing Collectibles restart zone sets our field back up. Dalton leads them down. This time we stay straight through the line now. We are really under green. Good drive off the line here for the cars here as the field will move their way down to the chains. Cameron Dario not in the 6, but in the 54. Might have a little bit of a number situation, but that's just because he's got a custom number on that bad boy. Puts the Monster Energy Interstate Batteries 54 right up ahead of the field here as the rest of the drivers continue to try to maneuver their way through. Passers and comers and goers going through the first part of this race. Now on the Wild Man Wild, the number 22 currently holding down the number 10 of Ryan D. Cook and the Budweiser Ford Mustang. The Fords right now currently at a very big advantage. Their top three, they're also scattered throughout, whereas the Chevrolets in kind of the bottom half, all except for one driver in the Mountain Dew 83. John McMillan Jr. right now currently holding the Chevy banner up as much as he can, trying to get something going here on the field. Early on, Simley, Roethlisberger, and Dalton currently your leader. And Roethlisberger, I had to give a quick apology. I couldn't say his name earlier on. I do apologize in advance for that. Brent Logue says, good evening, sir. How was your day, Brent? It was pretty good, my friend. Had a couple of friends over today and had a little time with them. And, of course, went to go see the races at Marshtown Speedway last night. A lot of love to them, of course. They did a great job putting on a great show for the 5,000 to win for the King of the High Banks. Best thing I can say about last night, man, was like kind of what you see with Dover. Well, I saw that on a dirt track with more of like a Bristol feeling to it. It was just drivers giving it everything they had, those features, man. But the heats, they could run the outside line like they were running a dirt, like a true dirt high-end track. And now here we are looking on at the virtual world again with the actual high banks of an asphalt track. And well, I'm getting a little deja vu over here, but not quite as close as it was last night. That's all right. 240 laps here. Again, I don't think the drivers are trying to push their luck too quickly here. So Roethlisberger right now and Dalton currently lead the field out. Dalton's got a little bit of a lead there over Roethlisberger as Zach tries to keep something going. On the onboard camera here, the Wild Man himself, the 22, Alan Wild, as he tries to command and presence on the field, but unfortunately they don't seem to be getting the ideals just yet. He may be a hooping and a hollering here in a little while. We'll certainly see here. But I think this is something you're going to see really out of the gate and really for a good chunk of this race is those that are maybe a little bit inexperienced or trying to preserve the car as much as they can here won't try to drive nearly as hard as those that have a very good understanding of what they're working with and how the car reacts in this kind of situations, this kind of circumstances. But even then, this car is such an enigma still to many drivers out there, myself included, for three big reasons. Number one is, of course, that snap lock steering on the front of the nose there. And steering on that is very, I don't want to say kind of occupied or just kind of overall a little bit harder to master, but it certainly is a lot more difficult to work with and a lot more difficult to kind of configure with when you have absolutely no idea how to keep that front of the nose down leveled on the track. However, what it does do is, though, is it teaches you to really have to maintain control and distance on the rear end and make sure you're keeping your momentum up, but still able to keep the car straight. Go through each corner, through each set. So I think the biggest problem is just when the tires start to wear and tear, which brings me to number two, which is that wear and tear of the tires doesn't exactly work on every track, and it's very difficult to kind of catch on. I really don't know why or what makes it do this way, but it really seems like more than anything the tires do not want to come in. They don't want to burn up until a little bit later on into the race. You actually got a little bit more grip off them. A little wear and tear and a little bit of ripping them around. That certainly will do it for you. And Philip Schmitz already in the number 18. Here I'm actually clutching the car in. Very interesting little strategy here this early on, honestly. Just try to clutch the car and try to get a little bit more fuel saved on the line. So I'm kind of surprised because he's only in stage number one, really. So it's not a whole lot of options in terms of what he needed to do or what he needed to scope with. But hey, if it works for him, it works for him. And boy, howdy, you can just see already, you only have so many laps in, and this is how difficult it truly is to pass here. It's not for lack of trying either. Charles Van Schuck, we know very well, he can maneuver through a field like no other, and he can put the pounding on some boys. But right now, anyway, this is probably going to be his toughest obstacle. This is why I always kind of get on him about trying to qualify in the higher brackets or get a higher spot so he doesn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. But I think, honestly, for this kind of race, this might actually work out okay for me in case he wants to save his car and doesn't want to get himself into too much trouble. Christoph Hall, by the way, in the number 44, looks to be out of this race here. It looks like he's not returning to the track just yet. And he's lost a lot of laps. Keith Friend's currently 4 laps down in number 3. He's going to be struggling for a little while. As we go, moving up to the front, here we go. Battle for third. Simley versus McMillan Jr. For the 9 of Bobby Wetzel in the Dodge Mopar machine, trying to hammer off on both of them. Now, Wetzel technically is driving a Ford style, but he's got the stickers on it like it's a Dodge Mopar. Oh, and speaking of getting a little bit Opar, Maurice Burnett been sentenced and banished to the shadow round coming off of turn number 2. Slipping and sliding and shucking and diving. And the Nike Air Jordans, unfortunately, not quite flying high today or getting some left off unless you count this little tag here. Oh, look at the replay here. Presented by Global Strategy Team. Here's a look at it. Oh, poor Alan Wild, man. Just got completely dished in on by the 8 there. Had nowhere to go and everywhere to get out of there, but there's nothing he can do about it. One more look at it here. You can see right here, as he starts to control it off of turn 2, the rear end just slightly kicks out as he's trying to get it up, and once that does, then he tries to save it with the front of the nose, but with that banking down there in the way of corners. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's a lot easier said than done just to try to save it from that angle. Nasty, nasty little collision. Pit stops now down on the track here. Livingston, Dario, Hollyfield, Wild, Scheich, Burnett, McMillan Sr., and Jackson all in pit road. So Burnett, we obviously got to know he's going to probably try to get some damage cleaned up on that car there. Gonna see what he can do there with the char and see if maybe he can get things figured out on the track here. Roethlisberger and Dalton staying out as well, so that will make them a little bit more in a very condensed situation here. So the field are going to get back in position, back onto the track here. I think one big thing we're going to really see here, though, is we are going to see a lot of drivers kind of taking early tumbles and early spins here. Again, this is a track that these next-gen Cup cars, in my opinion anyway, just absolutely struggle with. And it's not because the drivers themselves don't know how to race the track. Oh, far from that. A lot of it, in my opinion, is because it's the way the car aerodynamically and the way it centers and turns. It really just kind of focuses more on just trying to just even hang on to each line, each corner, which doesn't allow for too many passing opportunities, considering most of these guys can just kind of hang in there and keep it under control. I could be very wrong, though, honestly. I mean, I know it's early, and some were obviously saving the fuel and saving tires, but I don't know. To me, it just seems like for what we started with, what we just had happen, too, it's going to be very difficult. Well, right now we've lost Burnett, Wild, and Hall. Of course, Heath Prince currently getting 2 of his last back, so he's got a bit of a chance here. He's going to need a little bit more luck and a lot more time because he's going to need a heck of a lot of momentum to stay in this one. Although, again, we're not even well, we're only 1/10 of the way there so far. Opportunities gonna rise before you know it off of turn number 3 and turn number 4 this time on by Dalton, Roethlisberger, Simley, McMillan Jr. all lined out down the field. We'll send them on their way. And Zach going on to the bottom, trying to put Tyler into a bit of a fight out here. The real tree, number 4, Pizza, is trying to stay wise. Hunt's Brothers Pizza looking to make the move. And Dalton right now trying to hold him off. Almost clipped up around off of turn number 2 there. Good battle back and forth. The 7500, 19 kills with the real tree 4. I think they kind of realized the gravity of the situation here. You know, there's only about 32, or excuse me, 32 laps left before that competition caution comes out this next time on by. McMillan Jr. watching on. And this is another guy too, so close to victory lane a couple times, looking to try to change that today. Keeping great control over what he's up to. Driver in the wall though. Driver in the wall. Hang on up there. That's on Wild, it looks like. It is the Wild man yet again in trouble. And the field having to maneuver right around him here. They'll stay green. Could have been a bad sight though, considering how that tough line was and how tough it was. Drivers to avoid him off turn 2. Roethlisberger taking the race lead away. We have ourselves a new leader right now as we maneuver through the back. Ramsdell and the 97 kept our little onboard with them for just a minute as Philip Schmitz and him go head to head here through 3 into 4. Ryan D. Cook on the Budweiser number 10 trying to hold the line down, trying to hang in there. But it's Ramsdell who has a good little lead off down through the entry. How can he make it stick? Deep into the corners and deep into the run. There's 2 battles going on right there. I guess we'll call it the Dodge Mopar, even though it's technically a Ford body on that thing. Wetzel trying to get something figured out this season. He's had nothing but a bit of trouble and a lot of bad luck compared to his teammate there in Tyler Dalton. And right now he's looking to try to change that with a top-notch victory today. He's got the podium stake figured out. He just needs to get that top. He just needs to get the front. He just needs to get ahead of everybody and get things situated out. Also, real quick, guys, I know it is kind of unprofessional of me, but yes, if you hear me occasionally losing my voice or kind of get a little bit of a yawn in there, no, I am not tired. I'm just a little exhausted. I'm just still kind of reeling from the new work schedule, so do not worry. Eventually, I'll be back to normal. So, before you guys ask, I'm okay. I swear I'm fine. Well, it's pretty impressive here. Roethlisberger here just continuing to make good use and make good speed there as he tries to maneuver through the rest of the field and trying to keep Dalton away from him here. This is a tough deal though. This is absolutely a little hard charging, hard little race here for everybody that's kind of situated in this one. And now with Dalton falling back further and further along, I think it might be spelling time for him to relinquish that top spot. Remember though, he is on a reign of terror, as we have put it on to be. He has made his intentions clear. He wants to win every single race, every single thing he can before this season comes to an end. Well, he's done a great job of it in the Cup Series, and I don't even need to get started about the Truck Series. He's been just been pure dominance and attributes, laying in and laying thin. Cook and Smith's back out of here. Ramsdale gonna go lingering around with the 18, trying to build a little bit of momentum there for him, but trying to get his speeds up. Trying to hunt down on the bottom lane there. The 97 goes for a broke, going in the corner. The 18 of Cook. Trying to cook the number 10 of Ryan D. Cook. Smith's the interstate batteries right now, trying to maneuver through there on the turn 1 and 2. Good run on the bottom, trying to build speed. He's got to run. Now can he get it to stick? He got it to stick, got it to run off a little bit. Cook trying to patrol that area, couldn't quite hold him down. Now Ramsdale backing in him there. The more these guys keep out, the more they're giving old Dario down there a little bit of breathing room. Love the side-by-side battles going on here with stage number 1, giving every driver a little something to think about. By giving some something to think about here. The only thing these drivers and fans are thinking right now currently is just how long will everything last out on a car, and how much pressure can each driver handle in terms of their mobility and their mental frame of mind. Again, Dover, they don't call it the Monster Mile for no reason. They call it because it is a monster of a track and a monster of a headache for anybody who dares try to protrude and distort its walls. All those that come before the monster must be incorporated to an absolute beatdown of insanity and tough racing. Giles Van Schaik, number 23, 2 spots up now after his little expedition, if you will, in the very back of the pack, up to the very front of the pack. But again, he is still way behind that limit. So Scott Simley here, teammate, Tyler Dalton, looking to bring the Heineken 7 Ford Mustang up to the battle and into the charge here. Kind of surveying the area up a little bit, just seeing where every driver is maneuvering through and where maybe the possible best route is to take. Dalton right now, after leading the race for a good chunk of laps there, thrown way out of proportion is Roethlisberger. Pretty sure that's how you say his last name, although if I'm saying it wrong, well, hopefully he will let me know at the very end of this one. It's either Roethlisberger or it's Roethlisberger. I think it's Roethlis. The Mountain Dew 83, McDillon Jr. still trying to hang in there as the rest of the field kind of charged right back into that pack and into that frame of mind as well. Time running out though. Again, lap number 60 is the competition caution for stage number 1. That will pretty much ensure the field back into their spots and back into their line of sight. Aaron Action Jackson right now trying to play to the music and sing to the songs that he likes to crowd around these drivers. But unfortunately for them, I think they may have found some earmuffs or some plugs to put in so they don't have to hear too much of it. So now he's going to have to try to be a little louder and a little bit prouder and get them to really take notice of him, because he is still winless this season. And that's crazy coming off the season he had last time, where he put on some impressive performances and a great little come down, if you will, in terms of everything he had to do and everything he needed to bring to the table. I asked him flat out, like, you know, you haven't been to Victory Lane in a while. I mean, what's going on down there? He just kind of looked at me and said flat out, well, if I could get something a little bit more inside my car and I can actually get a little bit of a better drive off, I don't think I wouldn't be doing too bad here. And it's hard to believe, as you know, someone who wants to try to be the best they can, trying to get up to the front, how much competition level it changes in you. Little drive off there from turn number 3, looking for the pass, going for turn number 4 here, and the number 12 gets a good run off Ramsdell. Ramsdell open the door up, and you just can't make maneuvers like that and expect somebody to not come crawling up and coming inside. Lap number 52 out of 240 here. Still much to their dismay and much run to the be powered off of. So the number 4 is Zach right now currently leading this field out. Scott Simley making a little bit of charge here. I do like what we're seeing here. I do like the fact we're getting a little bit of a clear out here and a little more positioning from the field. Gives the drivers a bit of a chance here to kind of decipher what the long run will do in terms of scope and power. Again, passing opportunities, though, it's going to be far in between, guys. This is, I would say it's about Dover. Like, this is one of those tracks that gets a bad rap and stuff. Like, this is a great track for understanding that it is a battle of mind, endurance in the car, and the wear and tear toughness of man and machine together. It literally is like Pocono Raceway, where it's a man versus machine kind of raw deal. Yeah, but everyone will try to throw the arguments to me like, well, at Pocono at least you can go drafting and use them as slingshot mechanisms. Like, that's true, but then what happens when you get drivers separated out and then they kind of take it farther away from one another? That's when you really start to see the true driver instincts be put to good use in drivers using what they have to their disposal. Well, onboard shot here with Tyler Dalton in the 19 ring. He gets a moment as he tries to continue to corner down. Right back to the number 4, but it looks like Zach Roethlisberger is going to get himself a nice little spot here. 2 more laps to go. The number 4 Real Tree Ford Mustang. Without doubt in my mind, he is looking as competitive and as strong as he must be. But with this being stage number 1, he is going to have a lot of room to have to figure out and have to kind of fill the gaps in between on. Off the distance through corner number 3 and 4. And Zach Roethlisberger is taking this one home. So there we go, caution finally on out here. So that will send our field down for stage number 2 here. The caution finally coming out there. Roethlisberger going to be your stage winner. Tyler Dalton, Scott Simley, John McMillan Jr., and Joe Hudson, your top 5 in this one. Keep an eye out here on the top 5 guys as well here, because I'm going to see where they're going to come out and where they're going to come in from. You see the rest of your field also just kind of holstering up and ready to get into pit road. From pit road, it will be indeed Roethlisberger. Dalton almost getting a little taste of Charles Van Schaik coming in between. The 23 DoorDash PetSmart Ford Mustang having a little drive off there, getting right up to the front. So now he'll have his hands full, having to face off against the ever mighty tough number 4. I do like what we see though right now. This could get interesting. Van Schaik, man, here's another guy we talk so much about for all the right reasons again. So a long-term run and long-term game battle off for this one. Roethlisberger, Dalton, Van Schaik. Those 3, I guarantee it will be tough to tame on that one. Roethlisberger, I'm going to incorporate him, despite the fact it's the first time I've really seen him on the track here. I'm incorporating him in because the way I look at it, he's going to be very tough to tame and beat, considering what he just did a minute ago, literally running this thing into the ground and keeping everybody behind him. It's such a catastrophic, tough end little spot here. field ready to linger and fire their way back on around, ladies and gentlemen. The 4 will start the field off. Zach looking to try to get a good jump out of the gate here, looking to make sure everybody is put right in their place. Through corner number 3 into turn number 4 here, it is time to bring him back to the line. Field lines are back their way around. Green flag back on out. Well, I already like what I'm seeing here. Again, just single file them out a little bit, then let these riders start to really tempo the pace up, then they will really start to get a little more aggressive as time goes along. Remember, we're going to lap number 130 for this stage break, so we will be over halfway done. And when that means we're over halfway done, that means now the gloves are starting to be taken off. Ron Holyfield, the number 11 driving a little bit of a different paint scheme out there. Looks like he might have not quite got some sponsors on that car today, or maybe just decided not to get any this week and just drive solo. All his call and all his decision. Charles Van Schaik at number 23, PetSmart DoorDash, lingered up a little on the outside line as Richard Crane tries to stay clear and maneuver him. Looking on to the field, Crane getting some maneuvering done. The New York Ranger 36 trying to hang in there a little bit. Nice little pass off in the corner there through turn number 3 and 4, down, or excuse me, 1 and 2 for Ron Holyfield as he now comes through 3 and 4. The big drive, there's another pass. Oh, looks like I might have spoke too soon there. But he did indeed make a pass to 3 and 4. Charles Van Schaik left wide open. And again, I got to believe a lot of it is just because he's just trying to keep himself clear of any issues right now. He knows there's such a long race ahead of him. I can only say this though, being on a track like this, you can only back off the throttle so much. You still have to be somewhat leery and a little bit wary of where you make your moves and make your mark. And you still got to try to drive that thing into the ground when you can, after you kind of start to bolster and holster up everybody else with it. McMillan Jr. right now currently holding off on the back half, lingering right through, looking for some momentum. Not very concerned, not overly crowded on it. Dalton staying up ahead there, but you can see Scott Simley getting a little bit of a drive off here. Cameron Dario, the number 54, and Interstate Batteries Monster Energy Machine having a little fun down there. Guy lined up a good little corner off there. He's looking to take down the number 7 of Simley as the 83 of McMillan Jr. riding him along here for what he can when he go out of here. Lined up and shot through the cannons here. Every driver for themselves. Nobody can be relinquished in this. Only the best may be able to take part and take flight in this battle. So many obstacles to have to work around. So many drivers to have to figure out how to take down as well. This is the tough and cruel nature that comes with the sport. Silly the 7-gallon back here. McMillan Jr. getting a good run up there. Keen moves here and a lot of tough power outs out of the gate. I do like what we're seeing there and how tough it is for drivers to keep getting around at the same time trying to avoid any mishaps or mistakes here. Aaron Jackson right now looks like he is starting to play the music a little louder here. Getting a little louder, getting a little rowdier, and he's making some maneuvers through the field. Again, you gotta have to do that though. You gotta put pressure on everybody. You gotta put power down on everyone and make big moves, some big time adjustments. As you get later on in the field here, it just becomes more and more of a shootout here for anyone that dares come versus their way in. Cameron Dario right now, the number 6 Toyota Camry. One of the only Camrys out here. As a matter of fact, he's the only Camry out on the track, and he has been pretty much a little bit more lingering towards the bottom, kind of staying towards the front half of the nature. There's one thing I noticed with him is he just does not seem to have really kind of an off switch on his good or bad days. He either just can get it dialed in, or he really just defies the nature of trying to get it dialed in by driving the car as aggressively as possible. And same can be said for the one that's currently falling back right now, Joe Hudson. Hudson though, man, it just seems like he cannot for the life of him get a break or get a chance here. And he is still making everything work and to its best performance here. And you can hear the field also starting to clutch in a bit, so maybe he's just kind of staying a little bit towards the conservative side. Bill Smith, though, well, there really isn't much of a conservative side to him there. He's already pounded on that gas pedal. He's pounding on the field right now, getting ahead of everybody. Bobby Wetzel, certainly one of them. Looks like Wetzel might have just got a little bit tightened up, or he just ended up pushing more of the clutch in. I think he's just really just trying to stay out of trouble at this point. Really, I think it's his main target here. Dario right now currently holding in a third. Dalton continue to keep a second spot, and really can't really give you guys much to talk about with Zach Roethlisberger because he currently just leading out this entire field with almost little to no troubles. And everybody else kind of right in the same boat or the same frame of mind. A lot of them currently just trying to strategize a position here. Like Richard Crane not exactly going with the same strategy everyone else is playing though. Jackson hard back on the gas pedal here, and Crane giving you guys a frame of mind of like what to do here on this track. But I think the driver we'll go with here to kind of talk about this one will be, of course, the race leader. We're going to get a little insight on why he is exactly taking full control of this race. You're on board with Zach Roethlisberger. There are 3 big steps here to Dover. Number 1, find the right line, which is really any track. Number 2, momentum is power. If you even so try to leave off so much those RPMs, you're already struggling a bit. And then number 3 is straight steering is better steering. This track, it kind of condones itself more towards keeping a good cross line and keeping a more conservative angle. Not so much trying to push your limit, trying to push your luck out there. And that's exactly what we're getting out here in this case and in this situation. Richard Crane there, staying ahead of Scott Simley, which honestly Crane has shown some great, remarkable speeds here on the show. It's great to see him do it again here with such a good little power off, good little drive down in the corners. I think honestly though the biggest dilemma he's going to be facing throughout is whether or not he can start using that towards like getting into the playoffs bracket and towards that top lines and everything, because again, guys like Tyler Dalton already have put themselves into such a high burden, high pressure situation. It really forces those drivers to make their charge and make their controls here. Wild again right now, just trying to hang tight, trying to stick with whatever he can do here. Jerry Livingston, the 96, currently just hoping for a little bit of a break home, a little bit of a chance here. Sorry about the talkovers there, as well as the camera cuts. Kind of having some problems there with our timing there for a second, but we're okay. Livingston's not one of those guys that you can really sleep on too much. He can get something really figured out. He can make a lot of work with it. And it looks like Charles Van Schaik already having to admit a little bit of a problem down there as he goes into pit road early. Again, good to be bolstering down the fuel run that he's currently facing up against here. The race leader right now, Zach Roethlisberger, right now probably not too thrilled. Lap traffic's passing him up and getting through him pretty quickly here. But yeah, it's such a huge lead though on Tyler Dalton. I don't think it really matters all that much here. But we'll take a look at the lap times here, and you can see probably will be a bit of gain ground for Dalton considering they had passed him there. That usually implicates more of a run towards the guy behind, but not in this case. Roethlisberger, yeah, he's not letting up. he's gonna drive this thing in the ground if he all possibly can. Now, I'm not sure though if it will work out that well for him, considering the fact that a lot of drivers are clutching in. I gotta believe he needs to be doing the same. Here with that quick and easy little catch up there. Every driver that clutches in, they are currently saving fuel, trying to cut all the fuel line down on the car, making sure that it is properly set and properly gaining momentum as it goes in a longer format. Figuring this all out at the moment here. Looks like Jackson keeping a good little charge up with John McMillan Jr. McMillan Jr. just trying to hang on a little bit. Jackson, though, in my opinion right now, is starting to impress me a bit. He's got to the top three. It looks like he's pretty comfortable with what he's got going on in terms of strategy, so I think he might have something here. Randy Cook. Well, looks like we had a little bit of trouble down there with the number 10. I'm not sure completely what happened there. Might have got a little bit tight or a little bit loose and ended up going down a little too quickly to pit road even. Hard to really say. Keep your eye on him. All right. Oh, yep, there he goes. Well, there might be a reason why. I think he was going for pit road and ended up getting trapped there for a minute on that last lap ordeal. Nevertheless, car is able to manage it through. Look at this, Tyler Dalton. You can see he's clutching the heck out of that 197500 cam. And look at Jackson. Old Action Jackson and McMillan Jr. just almost kind of patrolling like a bunch of hungry sharks on their prey. Dalton is the prey right now, and he could be in massive trouble here. Yeah, he's going to get past territory to number 4. Aaron Action Jackson and McMillan Jr. making a big statement on the number 19. Now the question is, can they last out long enough to possibly catch Zach Roethlisberger with only about 10 laps to go this time on by? It's gonna be a lot easier said than done though. That's about a 9-second lead right now between those guys. 8.5 almost actually, but it's a full 9 seconds for McMillan Jr. and Zach here. In that terms, that scope, that's got to be absolutely tough to recognize or really just kind of figure out, because it's like if he's actually getting this done this quick right now, what's the odds he's gonna do it a little later on too? Only a mere 19 laps remaining here in stage number 2. Some of the heavy hitters like Ryan D. Cook, Charles Van Schaik, Cameron Dario admitting to defeat early and having to go into pit road. As that in itself has now completely pushed this line off, and now has forced every driver to make some crucial decisions. Coming back around right now, looks like Van Scheik already getting some positions back, and he's hustling, he's bustling, he's hoping for a lot of help here. Continuing to get the ground and coverage here. These drivers right now at the moment just looking for lap after lap, nearly halfway done with this. Roethlisberger, he is looking as strong as can be. And really, he needs to as well. You think about it. He's got to make every count. He's got to make every lap, every position, every spot count. Aaron Axel Jackson, though, in my opinion, he could be a sleeper hit here, guys. I think he might actually be the guy these drivers may have to keep their eye on here. He's been calm, cool, collective, and he's been just kind of patrolling the spots, and he's also been forcing some drivers to have to drive a little bit more on the preservative side here. If Zach goes into pit road, I think Jackson may be the favorite here to really make a statement from the stages and also into the later half of this race. But those guys that were pitting it, but those guys that were waiting around and lingering through, they weren't doing it for fun, and they weren't doing it just to kind of stay out of trouble. They were doing it literally because it was the best option for them to make on that circuit and on that track end here, and I think that was a brilliant idea. Philip Schmidt's going to pit road right now, so that could mean we are getting closer to that pile out and kind of getting closer to that drive out for many of these guys. Richard Crane going to pit road here, and you can hear Wetzel clutching the heck out of that throttle. He's trying to save up as much speed and power as he can, but he's also trying to save as much fuel as he can, just so that way the car has something to last off of. There's only 9 laps left remaining here in stage number 2. And Aaron Axel Jackson, well, looks like he's going to have to go to pit road, so it looks like his strategy didn't quite pan out the way he was hoping for. Roethlisberger, the way he's gone stayed far ahead here, honestly, I got a feeling that if he does go to pit road, he's only doing it just so that way he can have a little bit of a better chance here in that final stage. But I would not, in many ways or any way, shape, or form, risk it right now, considering where he's at and where he's up to. I think admittedly, though, he's going to have to go to pit road. Oh, yeah, he's going to pit road. There it is. But getting so much of a lead there on these drivers, I think that might actually have been the perfect strategy for him. Because now all he's got to do is just go in, get some fuel, and get out of town. McMillan Jr. going to be your new leader here. And with only about 7 laps remaining, there is a chance here he could get something figured out. But I don't know. That's going to be a very tough decision here for him and a very, very risky call. Lining them right off of turn number 4 there. The number 18 of Philip Schmidt's going up on the binder, going up on the drive. The interstate battery's cored up. Going right on to the number 36 of Richard Crane. And the field just continuing to divert out more and more. McMillan Jr. again taking the race lead away from Zach Roethlisberger. But again, Roethlisberger, may I add again, had just gone into pit road and got out of there. He only took a splash of gas and said, I'm out of here, boys. He knew his strategy. He knew what he had to do. Tyler Dalton and them trying to save up as much as they can. McMillan Jr. trying to save as much as they can. Simley doing all they can as well. This is a very tough call here to see if these cars can actually last out that long and that far. And remember, there was no cautions here in stage number 2. It was all under the green flag situation. Well, 2 more laps to go. McMillan Jr. He's lasted this long. He's looking to finish it. Very golden opportunity here. Can he just get one more good lap in? That's the question. He is clutching. He is saving. I think he's got enough for one more lap. Stage break coming up. Remember though, we saw earlier here on Pizza Race TV what happens sometimes when you try to go extreme mileage runs. It can sometimes end bad for both drivers in that tangle up. But for this time around, at least in the stage end, it won't be the same case and scenario. McMillan Jr. wins the stage. Wins the stage, and he's trying to get to pit road. And he's hoping for that yellow to come out. There it is. So finally the yellow flag coming on out here, and now the field gonna have to figure out how long and how far can these cars go. Before we get further than that, let's take a look at our pit strategy link here, and just to show you guys here as we get into the final leg of the race. That was a full 60 lap run McMillan Jr. had to perform there, and they think to go about 62, if you will. So honestly, that's a long, long road for what they were having to work around, what they were having to deal with. Well, we know these guys are going to pit road. That was kind of an obvious one. So we'll see who goes in, who goes out. Simley, McMillan Jr., Wetzel, Hudson, they're in there. Dalton, ironically, staying out a little longer here. I'm very interested to see what kind of strategy, what kind of tuning and game plans is on that idea. Pit stops coming through. Wetzel trying to hurry out there. Almost had a run there. Not quite going to get him there. Wetzel will be right behind Simley on that one. Roethlisberger getting right out onto the track again. Roethlisberger, though, went on lap number 123. I don't know necessarily he's going to be able to make those tires last that long. And it looks like it won't even matter anyway. Simley going right back out. So right at the moment here, every driver, every person just settling themselves back in, just trying to get cleared up for the rest of this one. Here we go now, ladies and gentlemen, the final stage coming your way from the Global Strategy Team Next Gen Cup Series. We are just a mere 105 laps left in this one. Dover Motor Speedway back on their feet, ready to reel it back in. Bobby Wetzel, Scott Simley, the front two runners here. Simley will set the tone and set the bar high. How high will he take it and how far will he go with it? That's going to be his choice. The lair has opened up for one more stage. Let's see what happens in the Monsters lair itself. The Monster Mile is back here for the final stage. Green drag dropping and we're already slopping. Bit of a change up here on the front of the hat here. Pack kind of getting a little bit closer down, then thinned in between. Joe Hudson, number 15, for the first time today, going to have a chance into the top bracket. He's currently battling hard to get to Wetzel and then get to Simley from the initial start. You guys right now off the lead lap here, and now further and further back on this one. Ron Holyfield getting out of the way of Turner Jackson, or he knew he was probably going to get a little tag there from old Jackson. Keith Prince really had nothing but bad luck today when in terms of what he got put through. The three just never seemed to get out of the issues or get out of his own way. It ends up costing it big time here, so we'll see how he's able to kind of take this situation and move it over to next week. But again, it really is a driver's mind. There is a lot of frustrations and a lot of factors you mentally have to prepare, you mentally have to face whenever you get on the track and whenever you get out there to have to work around. Roethlisberger right now making some aggressive maneuvering through the bottom of the pack here. McMillan Jr. right behind him, but getting him, remember, the driver's only been able to get about 60 good laps in, so I'd say probably you'll see them going 58, 59, and then head for pit road. Or maybe some of those will try to stretch out the run as long as they can, but I guarantee those tires are certainly going to play a factor here. Cameron Dario and Charles Van Slyke having a little bit of a tussle here up to the front as we see now Hudson, Dalton, your top three. Wetzel falls right out from Grace. Dario trying to get his lap back here, but at the same time he's not trying to ruin anybody's race here. But again, this is one of those dilemmas you just kind of have to face off in your mind. Do you go and try to take control of the race, or do you go and just literally try to play it by the rules and play it by as fair as it can be? That is a tough little deal that I repeat, nobody would even want to engage or situate from. Coming right back around now yet again. You can see the field getting further along here. Roethlisberger actually getting taken by lap traffic. Those that are not on the lead lap, man, they are not giving him any breaks or any kind of little runs here. They are just flat out muscling through a lot of them. Great. I'm really not sure why they're running as hard as they are when their leaders are like that. But again, I understand traffic-wise, you want to get back on the lead lap. But I mean, this is pretty difficult to deal with again, because again, you're really just having to fight someone who's not even in contention for you and doesn't even have anything to really deal with you on some things. Believe me, I know what it's like to get in lap traffic. I've been almost having a season championship cost because of lap traffic getting in my way or literally almost taking me out completely. It's not a fun sight. It's not a fun thing to deal with. I'll tell you right now, though, the leader is not having to deal with traffic just yet until Dario gets around to him, or Charles Van Dyke decides to as well. And it looks like they will get to it. Hudson made a great little move off to catch to Simley, but unfortunately, that would not last. Past the halfway point now, past the overall insanity points. I think these guys just want to try to make their work and make their thing in. Van Dyke right now currently hanging on down as now Simley passed up there. And now look at this, Hudson right behind. USAL 15 trying and praying for a little bit of a miracle here. Tyler Dalton laying it right behind him. You know, that Set 500 driver would love nothing more than to continue his reign of terror on this field. Side by side, here we go down that front straightaway, drag race to one, here we go through one, and the Heineken number 7, looks like he'll need a few more of those to deal with this run, because it is going to be Hudson right on the binders looking for the lead. Another huge drive off, trying to keep the tires in check. Keep the pressure on as he puts it, and he has done it there. Where is the pass? We've got 90 laps to go. That was a brilliant pass there and a brilliant maneuvering there. Now for the Hunt Brothers Pizza of number 4 is Zach Roethlisberger going right up there to Bobby Wetzel in the number 9, the Dodge Mopar machine. Trying to hopefully stay out of trouble and trying to stay ahead of anything else they can put him up against. Whoa! It almost have fenders put together. There is a thing called a bump and run, guys. I know many don't like it, but it does work. But not only does it work, it also makes things a little bit more interesting around these parts of town. Roethlisberger now going to the inside. Jump up ahead of Wetzel. Wetzel still trying to hold him down. Wetzel really getting forced into a very tough little lock here. He's trying to hang on, but you can see now the 8-3 John McMillan Jr. watching on. Trying to find the best time to make his move and make his mark on both drivers. big corner off there. And right now still Wetzel holding him down, just trying to get everything he can out of him. He doesn't want him to pass yet. He doesn't want anything to do with him. But he's not going to have enough time, and now Dalton's going to have his hands cut out for him. His work cut out for him indeed as the field now starts to tighten up a little bit from the earlier passes that those lap traffic cars are doing on him. Best lap times here so far have been currently in the 23.2 flat zone, but a 23.0 was set by Ryan D. Cook in the number 10 earlier on. Every man knows it doesn't really seem to matter too much. They can't use that momentum and use that power to their advantage. And now Joe Hudson looks like he may be starting to fade just a little bit. Looks like he may be giving a little bit of a time zone here, a little bit of a gap. He's really kicking the momentum up here. He's really staying in control of that run, staying in control of that line. But again, they're all still trying to take down Scott Simley here. And the number 7, the Heineken Ford Mustang, still your race leader. Hudson, problems down there. Looks like he's going to have more problems coming off right through turn number 3 and 4. He had absolutely nothing on his table in his play other than trouble and trouble brewed ahead of him. McMillan Jr. working his way through. Hudson now giving him a proper line to take off from. You just can't give up lines like that and then think for 1 second somebody won't try to maneuver their way through. More often than not, that will happen, and more often than not, it will force many of these guys to give that chance, give that opportunity. Coming up down across the field here, and it looks like they are stacked up a bit there. Oh boy. They're stacked up indeed. They're coming through turn number 3 and 4. Focus on some other camera angles there. And a big jump given up thanks to Dario and Hollyfield. Well, it's really looked like a complete 180 thrown right at them. Simply having to maneuver his way through traffic, and now faces the pressure. Being dealt that kind of hand, being dealt that kind of spot here, I guarantee you right now he is just focusing and trying to keep a close eye. I think he's getting a little too out of hand for him and getting himself into trouble. But his teammate Dalton and the Sim 500 gang will obviously do whatever they can to get to the front, get into position. But they all keep forgetting about the guy also that had outran most of them for quite a time in stage number 2. Let's see though if he's able to maneuver through and take shape. Remember, these drivers do have to go to pit road at least one more time. There's no way that fuel run can be saved for this final 110 so on laps. At their best, had they gone into pit road and everything, they would only had about 100 laps remaining, but they would have still dealt with about roughly a 65 lap window on the fuel run if they were to hold it off and try to continue that way. But I guarantee it just will not work like that, and nor will it hang in like that all the way down. The cars just do not allow for that, and nor could it be possible. Feeling him right down there. Dalton's still trying to make a move off here, trying to get some gap in between. Joe Hudson McMillan Jr. starting to gap up a little bit further here. Hudson at this point really, he's just struggling. He had such a good run there for a while, but now currently having to deal with lap traffic like Cameron Dario behind him. Looking to hopefully take a little bit of a track around here. Dalton feeling the momentum starting to sway maybe a little bit away from him, and he is trying so desperately to keep that from being a changeup here. Right back in. Oh, big bobble. Dalton giving room. Roethlisberger, big jump. He's now claimed a spot. Dalton, not usually do you see him make mistakes like this, but Dover seems to be getting the better of many of these guys, including the veterans. This is what I told you guys earlier. The endurance levels, the endurance pressure, and everything that comes with it, just almost at a detriment, making it that much harder for a driver to have to maneuver through. Simley right now, man, he has got to be feeling a whole lot of pressure right now. Roethlisberger literally just coming right up right in front of him. He's not far behind. He's not far out from taking control of this one. The heart rate's starting to skip up a little bit. Your spotter being your saving grace. Your crew chief basically being the guy that is trying to help you out and trying to keep you safe from trouble. There, it's really just a matter of hoping and praying, as we have said all so much before on the show. Back on board Bobby Wetzel for a little bit here as we see him trying to get a little more up to the front, about a second and a half plus off from Hudson, while still also having lap traffic and Cameron Dario right in front of him. And again, like, just so much of these drivers seem to just, in my opinion, not be clearing the gaps off, clearing themselves out of trouble more often than not. It seems like more than anything, they find themselves put into the absolute worst spot ever by simply just doing things that they really shouldn't here. And what I think really they're just doing wrong is just, again, trying to face the wrong drivers at the wrong time, and then next thing you know, those that are trying to get up back to you, they then become a problem. This final stage has been nothing but madness and a little chaos ensuing through, and now it's led to this moment. Roethlisberger and Simley turns the battle for speed, trying to prove one over the other, but the distance will be what saves either driver from any heartbreaks or any loss here. I expect, though, by now we'll be seeing some drivers starting to head a pit road or getting close to it. Phil Schmitz actually is one of them to start it. He went in on lap number 180. I'm not surprised there. I think he's kind of hoping for a bit of a break, a little bit of a change up here as he leaves pit road. But again, he's going to be a few laps down. Ron Holyfield getting into pit road now. Aaron Jackson is also in there. So we got a few guys right now looking carefully at when and where is the right time to move and where is the right time to strike. And speaking of strike, Roethlisberger still, man, he just will not give an inch on Simley. Simley trying oh so desperately to block that run and block that spot off. He just doesn't want to give it up to him. Not much time remains. The only time that does remain is all for just the maneuvering and the power off from the field to the end of this one. And you heard some cars going in, clutching around. They're trying so desperately to keep enough of that fuel. My, ladies and gentlemen, this is anybody's guess, anybody's race here. Dalton still as well. Keep forgetting all about him, but he is currently also looking at the very long-term essence of this race and the scope of what this could be. Again, he's already locked in the playoffs on both series. That's no coincidence there. That's no issue there. I think what really the biggest dilemma is just the sheer fact that nobody has been relatively completely sane or keep completely out of trouble here, causing a lot of drivers to have to really cave in and really maneuver through what they can get with. And that's exactly what Roethlisberger was waiting on. Zach gets around Scott, and we have another new leader, although you probably heard that name before already. In that race lead, he does it again, continuing to maneuver through more and more as she goes. Battle back to the pack here. Jerry Livingston and Ron Holyfield having a slight little tussle here. Gotta love the commitment there, though. Holyfield managing to get ahead of Livingston. Livingston, unfortunately, giving up too much ground, time, and run here. $50 laps now left to go. A solid 50 laps, I shall add. And that includes drivers heading for pit road. Bobby Wetzel certainly going to be one of them. Now, who will be next up to go to pits, and who will be the next one up to call it a day? The lines right now are starting to increase and incredibly destroy any kind of line these guys and gals may have. As Roethlisberger goes to pit road, he's going to strategize this one out a bit. McMillan Jr. and Hudson, Van Schaik also in there. And Van Schaik, by the way, currently still looking to get that lap back. Gonna focus our attention to Roethlisberger here. We'll see how long it takes to get out of pit road. Tyler Dalton, Scott Simley, they also have intervened to pit road. So their strategies are now going to be put into fruition. Roethlisberger, though, in my opinion, has the advantage. If he can get in and out quickly, I think he's going to really be setting himself up for fresh sets on the number 4. Exactly what he needs. And that was a good pit stop. Now, as long as he avoids any time penalties here, he'll be okay. Remember, you don't want to speed out of pit road and cost yourself here. McMillan Jr. going to join him as well. Dalton, Simley, both guys, looks like all 4 tires. Yep, all 4s. Simley and Dalton making their move out, and they're going to try to hurry before Roethlisberger gets up there. Might be too little too late. Watch out for the 4-hole. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of speed. No gimme here. Roethlisberger returns to the race lead now with 4 fresh sets and a little bit of fuel to kick along with it. And Dalton, he has got a problem. He gets a speeding penalty. The 19 sped in pit road, and he's done. This one just slips right out of his hands. Simley, his teammate, the only one remaining that had the chance to get up there to him. Oh, my, what a complete and utter disaster that has got to be feeling in his mind right now. And now everything completely flipped on its head, and every driver right now just trying to hope for the best, hope for everything they can. Just completely throwing these guys into a bind, into a bit of a pickle, into just a nasty little situation of how to figure out when and where they were going to make their move, or they make the right call to head to pit road. Now all of a sudden this has happened. Momentum beginning to give every driver something to think about, and it looks like Aaron Jackson gonna have something to deal with here. The only Dodge on the track today, and Bobby Wetzel looking to stamp his mark and stamp his move off. Looking on the back, looking on the front, looking for anything that moves. And Wetzel moving it ahead of Jackson and getting it right off to him. Now looking to hunt down for Hudson. As Hudson still tries to hopefully catch a break here. He is in the top 5 category. He could have something more here though if he gets a chance. And so much long run gain, long-term loss, and again you can just see where these drivers is just trying to hopefully catch a break or really set a spot up, and in and out of pit road. But some of them, it just was never going to work the way they were hoping for. And the turn just completely shadowed everybody into a bit of an oblivious scenario. Roethlisberger just trying to run and hide right now away from the 7 assembly. Assembly hoping for a break, hoping for a chance or something, and he's going to get a chance here. Lap traffic right ahead. Zach's going to have to try to find a way around him, but this could be a lot more difficult here. Because that's slowing him down big time. Look at this. That's slowing down really a bit here. Simley, look at him catching it right down. Roethlisberger trying to get immediately ahead. Big jump right in. Lap traffic facing the music once again. Dover has been nothing but lap traffic city. And it is in turn caused for a little bit of a change up. Look at, wait a minute, where did John McMillan Jr. come from? Oh my. The 83 Mountain Dew just completely changing the course. Oh, and a huge wreck ensuing on the front straightaway. 2 cars involved. Caution is out. Oh, no caution. There's no caution on the track. Richard Crane wrecked out completely. Ron Holyfield. Zach told no, stay going. Keep it going. Don't worry about that. Driver is not told any caution. There is no caution on the track. There was a massive pileup, though, for Richard Crane and Ron Holyfield. If we could get a look back at that real quick, see what the heck just happened there. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Take a look at it. Crane stayed up high. He comes down a little bit into Holyfield. Holyfield also coming up a little on him. Both drivers colliding, and Holyfield destroying the right front and a bit of Richard Crane's car as well. But no caution was thrown out. They remain green. I thought honestly they were going to get that caution out. That's why I yelled out there that caution's coming out. I thought honestly that's what the race officials and track officials were going to call there, but they never did. They said no, we're just going to, they just basically kind of looked the other way, it seems. Either that or the iRacing end did not get enough of a reason to call the caution. It's really hard to tell sometimes, but honestly that to me was a full-on caution. Thankfully Crane and Holyfield, good sportsmanship and good run on them. Both drivers going into pit road to get the image cleared up and probably call it a day here. So good on them for being careful and collective. Oh! Speaking of careful and collective there, it looked like McMillan Jr. decided not to be too careful. He decided to give the old wall love tap. All I can say is just don't bring my camera down there, McMillan. We just got that thing put on there. We just fixed it up the other day. Well, out of it all, ladies and gentlemen, 26 laps remain. Roethlisberger just controlling his own narrative, running his own script. .4 laps, we'll turn to 23 laps remaining here. Let's take a look now at our timely lap time per gauge. And you can see Simley. Oh, yes indeed. He has a sea of green. The Heineken, number 7, loves what he sees. And he might have somewhat of a chance here still to get right up there to him. Looking to carry momentum around. The driver's just left with no other choice here or anything left on the table other than just to go for it all, and go for broke. Fuel run should be right where they need it set at. Tyler Dalton, not often you see him make mistakes like this, but he ended up speeding into pit road. And that cost him dearly. Now having to try to fight off with whatever he's got left under the hood or whatever he's got left inside of his mind here. Charles Van Schaik, you know, despite the fact he's like he's 2 laps down, almost actually a full lap down, I should say. He's hanging in that 7th spot pretty well. He went next spots up, not the hard charger. The hard charger would be Aaron Axel Jackson with 9 spots right now anyway. But for what it's worth, Van Schaik, credit where credit's due. He just continues to stay consistent, even when he knows it's going to put him a lap down. Still stay consistent. He does his own little spot, does his own little research, and that's how he ended up working this thing in today. Cameron Dario, the number 54, not the 6. Current today anyway, looking to try to hold on. But again, I just kind of question, why would he try to hang out? It's like 5 laps down almost. Again, nothing against Dario. We've seen him perform some absolute high-level performances, but again, with these lap traffics, that's just one thing I never fully understood. Is why get in the way or get into that mess when you got drivers trying to battle for their own position. Hold your line, do whatever you can, but don't. I would never really try to. I don't know if I really would try to have to block up the leaders just to try to keep my lap or to get my lap back, if you will. Then again, that's just me. Joe Hudson right now caught off there by Wetzel. Wetzel trying to make a move off to him. Only 15 laps remain. Time is running out. This has been a very, very long run, green flag run for stage number 3. Could have been a little bit of a shortened end though, and had to become a little bit more enticing for other drivers to have to go at it with that situation involving the 11 of Ron Holyfield, and then of course the number 36 of Richard Crane. Unfortunately for both drivers, they did not catch the break there, and they ended up kind of getting thrown into the shadow round for their troubles. But nevertheless, a well performance by both guys coming out today. We do appreciate everybody tuning in today, as well as those that have come on board with us today on the broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys and appreciate you. If you guys don't mind, be sure to like and follow us up here on Facebook and subscribe over on our YouTube channel. Also check out our Twitter and Instagram handles for more great iRacing and racing content from Pizza Race TV and the leagues we present to you. Wetzel right now and Hudson, the closest we have to a true competitive battle in terms of how close they are. About a full second ahead, although Simley and Roethlisberger full second ahead between the two. But this is really less than a tenth of a second between Wetzel and Hudson. Hudson knows that this is pressure he cannot let get to him. More often than not, actually ends up taking most drivers down. Scott Sidley, the number 7 here, is still hoping and praying maybe he can give Zach Roethlisberger something to think about. Nine laps to go. Can anybody hang on and avoid the trouble? Keith Brent's current in pit road. Ron Holyfield, Richard Crane, they're both out of this race here. Ryan D. Cook, Jeff Ramsdale, Alan Wild, Maurice Burnett, John McMillan Sr., and Christoph Hall both out. Keith Brent's currently getting into pit road, just trying to get anything cleaned up he can here. John McMillan Jr. looks like that right side is completely tearing out on his end. He's trying to hold on, but Joe Hudson is coming for him. They've only got 8 laps remaining too, so this could spell a lot of trouble here for him. We shall see though if he can hang on just a little bit longer. Final 5 laps to go. All the power, all the structure, all the momentum, it all hindered here. Give credit where credit is due to many of these guys. McMillan Jr., Tyler Dalton, Joe Hudson, Bobby Wetzel, Aaron X. Jackson. They all had a stake in it. Scott Simley certainly looking to get one more than just stake in it. He's looking to finish strong, but again, I don't think there's anybody that can stop what is to come up. 2 laps to go. This time on by for the number 4. Dalton laying low behind Simley and again teammates here. I really don't think he's going to try to play any kind of games with them. I don't see what the point would be in this case here. Crowd getting on their feet. They're ready to see this final lap coming up off of turn 4. White flag high in the air. Zach Roethlisberger, your race leader. Just 4 more strong corners. And this one's in the books. Off the distance, down out the back straightaway. Entering for corner number 3 to turn number 4. Zach Roethlisberger, the real tree number 4, is going to take home a solid one tonight. He wins it at Dover. What a long, long, long road this must have felt like for the number 4 Realtree Hunt Brothers Pizza Machine. And he puts it down in victory lane tonight. I think he's trying to get a burnout ready. There he goes. He'll have a field day celebrating down there, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be out of the car here in a minute. We'll hear from him in just a second. Your race results now on your screen, presented by Global Strategy Team. What a day for Zach Roethlisberger on the number 4. Scott Simley going second. John McMillan Jr. going third. Joe Hudson, a solid top 5 for him. Bobby Wetzel in our top 5 as well. Aaron Axe Jackson starting to show some of that promise we know he can bring. Charles Van Schaik, usual top 10 situation. Tyler Dalton, expect anything less than a top 10. More top 5 would be anything less than that. It's a disappointment in his mind, I'm betting. And Cameron Dario going top 10 as well. Philip Schmidt's also running it in there. What a lineup and a field of drivers these guys brought to the table, and what a time it has been. So with that said, and with that now in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we have only but one thing left to do. It's time to listen to your top 3 drivers, and I'm very interested to hear some of these guys in this one. Top 3 coming up here. John McMillan Jr. going to go ahead and bring him home a 3rd place finish. John, congratulations for taking that one home, sir. And, well, I got to ask you, man, you had a lot of speed. You had a lot of grip in the Stage 1. Stage 2, certainly the same case. Then Stage 3, you were consistent, but it just seemed like never had that full-on ramp-up kind of power. What was kind of going through your mind there with this one?
I just didn't have the long run to those other guys. Those other guys ran a better race when it comes to saving tires. I just was quick for the first 20, 30 laps of a run, and then the last 20 there, those guys were just much quicker than me.
With that being much quicker than on the long run, I mean, you got to believe that kind of going to use some of that knowledge that they kind of showed here and use it for a longer time next time around, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely try saving a little bit better. Maybe try learning their lines and stuff like that. But they ran a great race too, so congrats on the Zach and Scott.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, congrats on you for bringing home a podium today here, John. So who do you want to thank here for this one?
Just like to thank my dad. He helps me a lot on here. He got wrecked in this race, but he definitely helps me a lot. Other than that, I don't have any sponsors, and thanks to the admins in this league, they do a good job.
For sure there. All right, well, John, we appreciate you coming on board here today. Congratulations, bringing home another podium.
Thank you.
John McMillan Jr., ladies and gentlemen, going to bring home a podium for his troubles. Another guy getting back on the podiums. He's got a couple wins already, but how about another podium for this guy? Scott Simley in the Heineken number 74 Mustang pops up another one here. Simley, you had a lot of momentum. You had a lot of ground, and at one point, it looked like lap traffic was going to play in your favor. Unfortunately, didn't quite fan out. What happened down there on that last bit?
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, it seemed like Zach. I mean, he was able to save better with the tires than I was. So, um, or I guess if we back it up even to that, that second run, I clutched it and was able to save it on just that one stop to make it to 130. So we made that work out and get stage points. So we had a good stage point night, and then that second and last run there, just like I said, Zach was able to save better. I don't know. I got to figure out what I can do to save tires a little better, but and I was trying a couple different things, and I could see the wear difference, but I don't know, I just can't put my finger on it. What I need to do. He did a better job. Coming up, towards the end there in that lap traffic, I was trying to be conservative because I knew he was better in the end, but I thought that would have been my best time to make a run at it was, to maybe sneak on the inside there and get by with the lap traffic, and use some cars as a pick. But it didn't end up working out. And then, you could see he pulled on me a little bit at the end. So it was a good points night. It would have been nice to get the win. Um, you know, that second to last stop was a little hairy because Zach pitted when I was going to pit, and it kind of screwed up my pit entrance. So I had to bail, and I lost some time there and went around, and then I was literally sputtering, coming between 3 and 4 on the apron there to make it. And then obviously Tyler even got by me, and he was a couple seconds back. So that hurt me, but, with the traffic and everything, I was able to get back to Zach, but, and all in all, it didn't work out, but still a lot of fun.
Still a lot of fun indeed. Well, I got to ask you, buddy, who do you want to thank you for this one?
SM 500, not global strategy, going on board. The GOAT series. Everybody that shows up every week. You for broadcasting. Um, I hope everybody enjoyed it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good group. It was fun to see the strategy work out and not have any cautions, and so you can see things play out. Tires were interesting too, but yeah, all in all, it was a good night.
All in all, good night indeed. Simile, great to hear from you back in second place here today. Congratulations taking home another podium here, sir.
All right, thanks, Christian.
Scott Simile, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing it on home down for second place today, but this man going to take home the victory today. Zach Roethlisberger on the number 4 going big time. Top win for you, Zach, man. Congratulations on that. And I got to ask you, but I mean, the first couple stages showed a lot of promise, showed a lot of speed. But then as you started to get a little further into it, then the stage 3 really threw quite a few curveballs at you there. I'm assuming lap traffic is probably the biggest of it, though.
Yeah, that I think that second stage there, I think a lot of those guys were on the strategy of saving fuel, and I thought there was no way that they could possibly save 5 or 6 laps in that amount of time. So I just went for it and pushed it as hard as I could, and ended up splashing going there. And luckily, we got the lucky dog there. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble there. Those guys did a good job of saving fuel. But yeah, that was the big thing. We didn't really do the strategy right in stage 2. I didn't realize you could save 6-7 laps of fuel or whatever it was, and put us back there to start stage 3, and we had to drive through. And then that last stop there, we had to manage it the best we could and try to save and manage the gap to Scott. And fortunately, we were able to prevail.
Had it gone any other way there in stage number 2, like you just mentioned there, and your strategy didn't quite bolster up or hang in as long as you need to, do you think that could have really been the end of your day or been any chance of hope you had for this race?
Yeah, absolutely could have. I mean, if I get caught a lap down there, I think the night's over. Even though I think we had the pace to, be a top car tonight, but luckily I didn't bite us too bad there. Not being able to save that fuel. So we got a little lucky there, but, I guess that's the way racing goes sometimes.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Zach, man, this was your race to lose in the very late half of this one. So, do you want to thank you for this victory?
Yeah, I just want to thank the guys for putting the race on, all the admins for allowing me to join tonight. It was kind of a last-minute spur of the moment thing, and they were able to get me in real quick, and I was able to join. So it was a lot of fun. Dover's one of my favorite tracks, so anytime I can spend a Saturday night driving here, I'm all for it. So thanks to them. Thanks to you for doing the broadcast. It's always fun to go back and watch our races. So appreciate everybody who makes the league go around, and looking forward to more.
Looking forward to more indeed. Well, we certainly can't wait to see more of you indeed, Zach. Congratulations on this one, bud.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Zach Roethlisberger there, ladies and gentlemen, bringing it on home and firing on all cylinders. And that will about do our coverage today. So big thank you to Global Strategy Team and JRC. Thanks so much to all for tuning on in. We'll see you guys next time with the green flag flies on PTM Racing TV.